Aaron stood at the edge of the glowing chamber, trying not to let his face show the alarm building inside him. The floating lights above the table moved slowly like stars in a night sky. But they weren't stars, they were maps. Real-time holographic maps. He recognized Earth at once, its blue oceans and white clouds spinning slowly in the air. Around it floated the outlines of Terran ships and colony routes. He wasn't just inside someone's house. He was standing in the middle of a hidden intelligence station. Valera stood near the table, her hands resting lightly on its surface. The light reflected against her silver-blue skin. Her golden eyes were calm, but now they seemed sharper, like a blade hidden inside silk. "This is not what it looks like," Valera said softly. "It looks like you've been watching us," Aaron replied. She tilted her head. But she didn't deny it. Aaron's mind was racing. No human had ever reported meeting anyone on Jara 4. Official records said the planet was uninhabited, only used for energy scans. So how could this alien woman have maps of Earth? How could she speak Terran? How could she know the layout of Terran fleets? Valera walked slowly around the table. She didn't rush. Every movement she made was smooth and quiet. Aaron noticed the way the light bent slightly around her body. Her clothing wasn't just fabric. It was some kind of advanced tech. "You think you're the first human to step here?" Valera said. "But you're not." Aaron's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" She paused. For a moment, the calm in her voice thinned, and something colder slid in. "Humans came here before. A long time ago. They left their mark and we never forgot." Aaron felt like the floor beneath him had shifted. "That's impossible," he said. "Earth only began deep space travel a century ago." Valera's golden eyes locked on his. "Your history is shorter than you think. Your kind forgets easily. Ours doesn't." Aaron's heart thudded. Either she was lying, or humanity's history was not as clean as the official records claimed. Both options were dangerous. He glanced at the floating projection. A thin red line connected Jara 4 to several Terran colonies. Someone had been watching every human movement for years, maybe longer. Valera moved to a panel in the wall. She placed her hand on it, and the room darkened. One by one, images flashed in the air, grainy black and white videos of human ships, human soldiers walking on alien soil, human explorers planting flags. And finally, images of battles, Terran weapons firing, alien cities burning. Aaron's breath caught. "Where did you get this?" Her voice was low. "From the last time your kind visited us." He stepped back, suddenly feeling the weight of his boots on the floor. "That's not us," he said. "That must have been humans," she finished. "It doesn't matter what flag you carried. It was your kind." Her face remained calm, but there was something sharp under the surface. Not rage, not hatred, but memory. Aaron realized something else then. The way she moved, the way she spoke, the fact she saved him from the storm. She didn't just meet a stranger today. She had been waiting. "Why me?" he asked. Valera walked toward him, not fast, just slow enough to make the silence between them heavier with each step. "Because you're the first human to come here without a weapon drawn," she said. "I needed to see what your kind has become." Aaron's hand twitched near his side, where the emergency beacon rested beneath his suit. "You've been observing us," as Valera said. "For a long time. Your ships grow larger. Your colonies spread faster. You build faster than anyone else in the known stars. You take worlds like storms." Aaron didn't answer. He couldn't argue. Humanity was expanding, colonizing, taking territory that once belonged to no one, or at least, that was the official story. Valera's voice became softer, but not gentle. "Many of us believe you are just explorers. Others believe you are something worse." Aaron tried to keep his voice steady. "What do you believe?" Valera stopped just a few feet away. Her golden eyes searched his face like someone trying to read more than words. "I believe humans are unpredictable, dangerous, brave, foolish, clever, and very, very hard to control." The air between them felt charged, not with anger, but with something bigger. History? Then the silence broke with a low, distant sound. A beep echoed in Aaron's helmet. He glanced at the corner of his visor. A weak signal. His beacon had managed to break through the storm. Just barely. Valera's head tilted. She noticed his reaction instantly. "What did you do?" she asked quietly. Aaron forced a casual tone. "Just checking suit diagnostics?" But Valera didn't believe him. Her steps grew slower, her golden eyes narrowing slightly. She wasn't angry. She was calculating. "You should not have done that," she said. Aaron's pulse quickened. "Why?" "Because now. They will come." She turned away from him, pressing her hand against another crystal panel. The chamber wall shifted. Parts of the floor opened silently. Long, thin devices rose up like spines from a sleeping creature. Aaron realized they were defense systems. Hidden turrets. Shield emitters. Whatever this place was, it was not some quiet mountain home. It was a fortified base. His weak signal might have reached his team. If they were scanning, they'd come for him. But if they came, they'd walk right into whatever this was. Valera didn't look at him as she activated the systems. Her voice stayed calm, almost too calm. "If your people arrive armed," she said, "someone will die." Aaron clenched his fists. "I didn't ask for this." She finally turned. "Neither did we." The storm outside roared against the crystal walls like it wanted to warn them both. The light in the chamber shifted to a cooler blue. Warning mode, Aaron guessed. Valera moved with fast precision now. She wasn't hiding anymore. He had to think fast. If he stayed silent, his team would land blind and probably get shot. If he acted now, he might be able to control the situation. Maybe. He glanced at the floating map again. In the upper corner, he saw something strange. A small blinking light. A Terran signal. It's not his. Something old. "What is that?" he asked. Valera hesitated for the first time. "A grave." The word sent a chill down his spine. She walked to the edge of the map and zoomed in. The blinking dot expanded into an image. It was the remains of a Terran ship, half buried in ice, rusting slowly in the snow. The letters on the hull were faint, but Aaron recognized the logo immediately. It was a Terran Exploration Corps vessel, the same organization he worked for. But this ship was more than 80 years old. Aaron felt the ground sway again. "There were others," Valera nodded. "They came. They attacked. They died." "But why isn't this in any record?" Aaron whispered. Valera's voice was like steel wrapped in silk. "Because someone erased it." Aaron didn't know who to trust anymore. His training, his government, or the aliens standing in front of him. Everything he had learned about Jerifor had been a lie. Valera suddenly moved closer to him, fast enough that he tensed. But she didn't touch him. She leaned just close enough to speak quietly. "You need to decide," she said. "When your people arrive, will you be the one to open fire, or the one to stop it?" Her golden eyes didn't blink. She was serious. Deadly serious. Aaron swallowed hard. "I don't even know what's going on." "You will," she said. Soon, a deep rumble shook the walls. Valera turned her head toward the ceiling. Aaron didn't have to ask. He knew that sound. A Terran ship was entering the atmosphere. His team was coming. Valera walked quickly to the table, touching several glowing symbols. The outer defenses shifted and came alive. A shield formed around the structure, glowing faintly against the storm. She wasn't bluffing. If his team landed with their usual combat protocol, this would become a battlefield. Aaron took a step forward. "You don't have to do this." Valera didn't look at him. "I've already lived through one war with humans. I won't wait for a second. Then let me talk to them." She turned sharply, her expression unreadable. "Why would I trust you?" "Because I don't want anyone to die," Aaron said. "Not them. Not you." For a long moment, Valera didn't move. Then, slowly, she lowered one of the defense emitters. Only one. It wasn't much, but it was something. "You have one chance," she said. Aaron took a deep breath and opened his cum channel. Static screamed through his helmet, but under it, a faint voice broke through. "Hal, this is Echo 1. Do you copy?" "Echo 1, this is Hale," Aaron said quickly. "I'm alive. I repeat, I'm alive. Do not engage." "Say again. Do not engage," he shouted. "I'm inside a structure. It's not what we thought. There's someone here. She's not hostile unless provoked." There was a long pause on the other end. Then the voice returned, lower and more careful. "Understood." Approaching with caution. Valera watched him the whole time. Her face was still calm, but something in her shoulders eased just slightly. But then, something happened neither of them expected. A new signal flashed on Aaron's visor. Not from his team. From orbit, Valera's golden eyes widened. "That's not your ship." Aaron's blood ran cold. "What?" She moved to the table again, fast now, her fingers flying over the glowing controls. The map expanded, showing the orbit above Jarafor. A second ship had entered the atmosphere. It wasn't Terran. It wasn't hers either. A third player had just arrived. Valera whispered something in a language Aaron didn't understand. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharper than ever. "They followed you." Aaron's mind raced. "Who?" Valera turned to him. "The ones who never wanted peace." Outside, the storm screamed louder as two different forces moved closer. The storm outside was no longer just a storm. It moved like a living thing, pushing against the glowing shields of Valera's mountain base. The snow spun in violent circles, lightning flashing through the clouds. Two ships were entering the atmosphere. One was Terran, his team. The other, unknown. Aaron stared at the holographic display as the second signal grew closer. Its shape appeared above the map, sharp, wide, dark. The edges of the craft bent the radar, leaving strange shadows behind. It wasn't Terran, and it wasn't Valera's people either. Valera's golden eyes narrowed. "They're early." Aaron turned toward her. "Who are they?" Valera's calm voice had a hard edge now. "Enemies. Not just of me. Of you too." Aaron stepped closer to the map. "You knew they were coming?" Valera's jaw tightened. "They were always watching the skies. They have been waiting for your kind to return." The unknown ship cut through the storm like a blade. Its signal grew stronger. Aaron recognized the pattern, not the language, but the behavior. This wasn't an exploration ship. It was a warship. On the comm channel, a voice burst through the static. "Hale, we've got visual on a second vessel. It's not friendly." "I know," Aaron said. "Listen carefully. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage." "Then what do we do?" Aaron looked at Valera. "We survive." The base vibrated as something exploded in the sky. The second ship had fired a warning shot, not at the Terran shuttle, but at the mountain itself. The shields flared bright blue, absorbing the impact, but small cracks appeared in the glowing walls. Valera didn't flinch. She moved quickly, pressing her hand to the control panel. A hidden part of the wall slid open, revealing a row of smooth silver devices. Defense turrets. Aaron stepped back as they came online. "You're armed." "I am not a fool," Valera said simply. "I've lived through one war with humans. I will not lose another war to them." Aaron realized she wasn't just a lone woman on a mountain. She was a guardian of something much bigger. "Why are they here?" Aaron asked. Valera's golden eyes flickered like light on water. "They want what you humans wanted the last time. Power, technology, control of this world." The storm howled louder. Alarms began to echo through the chamber. Valera walked to the center of the room, lifted a small glowing device from the table, and placed it into a slot near the shield console. The walls pulsed with a deeper light. "They're breaking the outer defense," she said calmly. "We have minutes." Aaron felt the weight of the situation pressing down on him. One wrong move, and this mountain would turn into a battlefield. His team, Valera, the warship above, and him stuck in the middle of it. He touched his comm. "Echo 1, this is Hale. Land at the South Ridge." Stay low. Keep your weapons down. The voice on the other end was tense. Sir, are you sure? Yes, Aaron said. This isn't just a rescue. It's a fight we can't win with guns. Valera shot him a quick look, but didn't speak. She continued adjusting the defenses. Aaron watched her hands. She didn't shake. She didn't panic. She had done this before. A new alarm flashed red. A cold, mechanical voice in Valera's language filled the air. She translated without turning. They're landing. Aaron clenched his fists. Then let's greet them, minutes later. Outside the base, the storm split open like torn fabric. A dark ship descended through the clouds. Its surface was black as night, absorbing the light. Sharp fins unfolded as it hovered above the snow. No lights. No symbols. Just silence. Then the hatch opened. Figures stepped out tall, armored in black metal that reflected nothing. They moved with perfect, practiced rhythm, their boots not sinking into the snow. Aaron couldn't see their faces, but he could feel their presence like cold air pressing against his skin. Valera stood on the platform at the entrance of the base. She held no weapon, but the defense turrets above her hummed softly ready. Aaron stood beside her. His team, for Terran soldiers, moved behind him. Their rifles were raised but not aimed. He had made them promise to hold fire. One wrong spark could turn this into a bloodbath. The alien soldiers stopped at the bottom of the ramp. One of them stepped forward. His voice came out through a machine translator. Deep, slow, heavy. Valera, you should have left this place. Valera's voice was steady. And let you take it again? No. Aaron felt the tension between them like an invisible rope. The alien soldier turned his head slightly toward Aaron and the human. Valera didn't answer. She didn't need to. The soldier let out a sound, not quite a laugh, but something close. Humans always return, just like last time. Aaron clenched his jaw. I don't know what happened last time, but I'm not here to fight. Soldier tilted his helmet. You don't have to fight. You just have to die. Without warning, the alien soldiers raised their weapons. The sound of charging energy filled the air. Valera's defense turret snapped into position with a high-pitched whine. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then the storm itself seemed to explode as the first shot was fired. Aaron dove behind a snow ridge as blue energy beams tore through the air. Valera moved like flowing water, pressing her hand to the control pad on her wrist. A wall of light rose from the ground around them, the inner shield. The alien beams struck it, flashing bright but holding firm. His team returned fire not to kill, but to push them back. Aaron shouted over the comm. Do not aim for lethal. Buy us time. Valera's voice was calm even in chaos. They won't stop. They don't have to, Aaron said. We just need to make sure they don't win. Another explosion shook the mountain. A second wave of soldiers poured out of the dark ship, moving like shadows. Valera activated a sequence on the panel near her wrist. A hidden platform under the snow cracked open, releasing a shockwave that pushed the attackers back. It was not a weapon. It was a warning. But the aliens didn't retreat. They want the core, Valera said. The energy beneath the mountain. They won't leave without it. Aaron's mind flashed back to the carvings on the wall. Humans fighting these same soldiers decades ago. The same war. The same greed. He looked at Valera. Then we make sure they don't get it. Inside the control chamber, alarms blared. Valera stood at the main console, fingers moving fast. Aaron joined her. I can overload the shield core, she said. It will destroy the energy source. Aaron understood what that meant, and the mountain with it. Yes, Valera said, and them. What about us? She looked at him. For the first time, her eyes softened. We won't survive. Aaron's chest tightened. He wasn't ready to die. But he also wasn't going to let these invaders take control of something they could use to wipe out entire colonies. He glanced at his team on the comm. Echo 1, prepare evac route. A voice came back, rough with static. Evac route. What are you planning, sir? Something stupid, Aaron muttered. But it'll work. Valera's golden eyes followed his movements. You're going to fight them, no, Aaron said. I'm going to outsmart them. Aaron knelt beside the console. His suit still had a weak link to orbit. He rerouted the remaining power from his beacon into the transmitter. A small light flickered green, enough for a single strong signal. He opened a channel to the Terran ship above the clouds. "Command, this is Hale. Target my coordinates. Do not fire until I give the signal." A voice crackled back. "Hey, what's happening down there? Trust me." He cut the line. Valera watched him silently. "You're calling your army." Aaron smirked faintly. "Not an army." A surprise? Outside, the alien soldiers pushed closer. Their weapons burned holes through the shield. Small cracks appeared, glowing like veins. One more strong push, and it would collapse. Aaron walked toward the entrance, snow crunching under his boots. Valera moved beside him, her cloak whipping in the wind. His team stood behind, ready for one last stand. The lead alien raised his weapon. "You can't win." Aaron raised his chin. "I'm human. Winning is what we do best." Then he tapped the side of his helmet. The sky roared. A Terran orbital strike cut through the storm like a falling star. A single, focused energy beam slammed into the snow behind the alien soldiers, not to kill them, but to bury their ship in a wall of fire and shock. The ground shook. The soldiers stumbled. Valera activated the secondary shield at the same moment. The energy blast didn't touch the base. But the enemy ship was trapped, half buried, engines damaged. Aaron didn't wait. Valera opened a hidden passage at the side of the mountain. His team ran through first. She followed. Then Aaron turned back one last time. The alien commander tried to raise his weapon again, but the mountain itself answered. Valera's overload sequence reached the core. The ground rumbled like a sleeping giant waking up. A blinding light burst upward, swallowing the sky in white. The enemy soldiers disappeared in the storm of energy. Hours later, when the storm finally quieted, Aaron and his team stood on a distant ridge. The mountain that once glowed with soft blue light was now gone. A crater of glass and snow marked where it used to be. The enemy ship was nothing but melted metal buried beneath. Aaron breathed hard, the cold biting at his face. His team was silent. They had survived, barely. Valera stood a few meters away, looking at the horizon. Her silver-blue skin caught the pale morning light. She looked tired, but unbroken. Aaron walked up beside her. "You lost your home." Valera shook her head slowly. "A house can be rebuilt. A world cannot." He nodded. "You saved my people." She turned to look at him. "No, we saved each other." The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was a place of quiet power. It floated in the center of the neutral zone, surrounded by a shield of blue light that could hold back any weapon known to the stars. For centuries, it had been the meeting point of hundreds of alien civilizations. Every wall of the hall was carved with the names of species that had stood at its center to prove their worth, some still alive, others long gone. Today, the hall was filled with thousands of alien delegates. Their faces, or what could be called faces, showed a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Giant reptilian warriors sat side by side with insectoid queens. Shadow-like mist beings floated next to metal-skinned androids, and crystallized bird creatures perched on glowing platforms. Every race had come to see something they considered both foolish and entertaining. A human had volunteered for the obelisk trial. The obelisk was not a game. It was an ancient machine that tested strength, intelligence, and endurance. Most species sent fleets. Some sent whole armies. But humanity, a young species, barely a century into space travel, it sent one man. His name was Commander Elias Reyes. He walked onto the shining platform in a simple flight suit. No royal cloak, no armor of gold, no heavy weapons. His hair was short, his jaw set, and his eyes calm. He didn't look like a hero or a conqueror or even a warrior. He looked like someone who had already accepted how hard things could be and decided to face them anyway. A wave of whispers moved through the crowd. "Is this a joke?" hissed a Varkesh warlord, his tusks clicking together. "One human? Not even a team?" laughed an insectoid queen, her wings trembling with amusement. They must think this is a parade, said a tall android with a glowing blue eye, up in the floating judge box. The council high speaker, a tall, silver-skinned alien with a calm voice, raised a hand for silence. The entire hall became quiet. Commander Elias Reyes of Earth, the speaker announced. You are aware that no single being has ever survived the obelisk trial alone? Reyes looked up at the speaker. His voice was steady. Yes. You understand, the speaker continued, that if you fail, your species will be mocked across the galaxy? Reyes tilted his head. We've been mocked before. We're still here. Soft laugh rippled through the human section of the audience. A few alien leaders frowned. No one had ever answered the speaker like that. The speaker paused, then said, Very well. The trial begins. The platform under Reyes's feet began to rise. Above the council chamber, a black dome opened, revealing the endless starfield. A massive structure hovered in orbit, the obelisk. It looked like a black spear, the size of a city, covered in glowing red lines. Energy radiated from it like the heartbeat of a god. The platform locked into a small human-made ship, the Resolute. It was not beautiful. It was not powerful. Compared to the alien warships, it looked like a rusty tin can. But it was fast, flexible, and built by hands that refused to give up. Commander Reyes, came the voice of mission control from Earth through a clear line. All systems check complete. You're clear to engage. Copy that, Reyes replied. His hands moved across the control board with calm precision. The first test began. The obelisk released a wave of gravitational pressure so strong that entire fleets had once collapsed under it. The metal of the Resolute groaned. The ship shook violently. Most pilots would have screamed or fled. Reyes leaned forward, gripped the controls, and whispered to himself, Not today. We pushed the thrusters. The ship fought the pressure like a swimmer fighting a riptide. The display showed red lines, blinking warnings, and overload signals. The crowd of aliens leaned closer, expecting the ship to break apart within seconds. But it didn't. The little human ship moved forward. Inside the council chamber, the Varkesh warlord stopped laughing. The insectoid queen tilted her head. The android's blue eye flashed in confusion. He should not be able to move, the warlord growled. His bones should be dust, said the queen. Human ships do not have that level of reinforcement, the android calculated aloud. But Reyes was still going. He gritted his teeth and kept his hands steady. He didn't have the strongest ship. He didn't have the best technology. But what humanity had learned over centuries of struggle was simple. Don't stop. Back on Earth. Billions of people watched the trial live. In cities, in villages, on starships, in space stations, screens flickered with the image of their lone pilot. No one spoke. No one blinked. Every person, young and old, silently whispered the same words. Keep going. The second phase began. The obelisk opened like a flower of black steel, revealing hundreds of energy rings spinning around its core. Each ring moved at a different speed in a different direction. To pass through them, Reyes had to fly in perfect synchronization. One wrong move and his ship would be torn apart into atoms. Most species used advanced AS or entire squadrons to handle this test. Reyes had only himself. The rings began to spin faster. Reyes closed his eyes for a heartbeat. He remembered his first flight in an old training simulator back on Earth. The screen was cracked. The joystick barely worked, and the software lagged. He had learned to fly by feeling, not just by seeing. And now, in the middle of the galaxy, that old skill returned. All right, he whispered. Let's dance. The Resolute tilted, slipped through the first ring, rolled through the second, and dove under the third. The crowd gasped. Even experienced alien pilots watching from their seats couldn't believe it. Reyes wasn't just surviving. He was making it look easy. Is that instinct? Asked the android, running calculations. No, said the queen slowly. That's madness. Through the fourth ring, then the fifth. His breath was steady. His heartbeat pounded like a drum. Each pass brought him closer to the obelisk's heart. The gravitational pressure returned, stronger this time. The hull screamed. Sparks danced across the console. Reyes didn't flinch. Warning. Engine stress level critical, the ship's computer said in a calm female voice. Yeah, Reyes muttered. Tell me something new. The sixth ring came faster than expected. He reacted without thinking, twisting the ship sideways, scraping the edge by a hair. A thin line of smoke curled up from the left engine. Still, he didn't stop in the council chamber. Silence replaced laughter. Aliens who had mocked humans moments ago now leaned forward in their seats. No one spoke. The speaker's usually calm voice carried a hint of surprise when he said, "He is adapting." The insectoid queen clicked her mandibles softly. He's not adapting. He's fighting. Humans are strange creatures, murmured a reptilian elder in the back row. They bleed, they break, they suffer. But they don't stop. Reyes cleared the ninth ring. Only one remained. The 10th ring spun at a speed no organic pilot could match. It was designed to force surrender. No one had ever crossed it alone. But Reyes didn't even slow down. He whispered the same words he had whispered at the start, not today. He slammed the thrusters, tilted the ship on its side, and dove straight through. The ring flashed red as it barely missed, shredding the Resolute into pieces. The ship emerged scorched but whole. The crowd erupted into noise. Shouts, gasps, and whispers filled the air. The Varkesh warlord's tusks clicked in disbelief. The queen covered her face with her wings. The android froze, unable to explain what it had just seen. On the main screen, the obelisk pulsed with crimson light. It recognized the pilot. For the first time in centuries, the machine adjusted its pattern. It was not just testing anymore. It was responding. Reyes leaned back in his chair, chest heaving. He knew this was only the beginning. The real challenge would come next. But somewhere deep inside, a small smile formed. Back in the council chamber, the speaker spoke in a quiet voice. Humanity has advanced to Phase 3. No species has done so alone in over 500 years. The warlord slammed his massive fist on the table. Impossible. Insectoid Queen shook her head. No, not impossible. Human. The speaker turned his gaze toward the Earth delegation. Your species may be more dangerous than we believed. In the human section, the ambassador stood up, calm and steady. We've always been underestimated. The stars outside burned brighter. The obelisk prepared its next move. But the galaxy had already changed. For the first time, the great powers of the universe were not laughing at humanity. They were watching. Reyes tightened his gloves, glanced at the glowing red light of the machine, and whispered to the void, "Bring it on." The engines roared. And the Resolute surged forward. The trial had only begun.